that record button, which doesn't always happen, let's be honest. Right, so stand up nice and tall, roll the shoulders round, back and down, and because it's all about the core, a little side bend. So just take a bend from one side to the other. That's a little bit to warm up the spine as well as warm up the waist. Then I want you to take a little twist. And again, I'm lifting my heels, so it's a bit of a golf stroke type thing as I twist, so that I'm getting the waist to warm up and again the spine to warm up. All right, nice and easy there. Now the last bit for the spine, round forward and ease back. So we go forward and back, pulling back to open up across the chest, but getting that forward bend again for the spine. Now, next time when you come back, stand up nice and tall and bring the hands behind your head. And I want you to go into a little oblique crunch, side to side. So I'm just bringing my elbow down towards my leg. Now that's stage one, and if you just want to stay with that, stay with that. But if you want to make it a little bit harder, then as you bend, pick up your knee and try and touch your elbow onto your knee. So that's a little bit harder, but again, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Now here's a new move for us. Both feet on the floor, hands stay behind the head, and just squat down and up. That's our prisoner squat, okay? The tempo at which you move, remember, is up to you. Now from a prisoner squat, as you come up, pull up the knee and into the oblique twist. So down, up, crunch. So down, up, crunch. So now we've got all those moves put together, and that's bringing in the waist a little bit more. Now you're going to do another couple of those, and then next time when the knee comes up, I want you, instead of bending towards it, to twist towards it. So you go down, up and twist. So instead of taking the elbow to the knee, I'm twisting across. Now it might not feel like it, but this is one of those moves that actually uses more of your abs and core than any other move that we do this morning. Right, let's take those arms away because they're starting to ache. Bring them in front if you need to. Let them drop down when you want to and hold. Now I'm going to step one leg behind the other into a little bit of a curtsy. So I'm going to go from one side, my arms are going one side to the other into a curtsy lunge. I just have to do that. I don't know why. I think it's, you know, my invisible skirts going from side to side. If you don't like a curtsy lunge, if it aggravates an injury, then don't do it. Okay, now, next time when you step back, I want you to hold, come round, and just tap straight back. So I'm bringing that knee straight back and up. All right, I'm going to stand sideways. You stay where you are. I'm going to stand sideways to show you what I mean. And then I'm going to bring the arms up to my ears and pull. So now I've got to reach and pull. Obviously, I've got to stabilize on one leg. If that's too much, don't do it. You can take the arms away. You can keep the foot lower. You don't have to pull the knee up, but pulling the knee up brings the abs in just a little bit more. Now hold that leg back. Lift the chest and bend the supporting leg down and up. Now you're thinking, hang on a second, this is legs work. And it is, but it's also about balance. So when you're in a lunge, you're generally often off balance. So this helps us work our core by stabilizing our position. Are you ready to go back to that curtsy lunge? So in a second, you're going to go down, pull up, and then curtsy lunge, side to side. Okay, do whatever you like with your arms. Have jazz hands if you want. Have a little folded arm, I don't know, skirts, skating, doesn't matter, whichever you want. But of course, we've got to do the other leg. right? So I'm going to hold that leg. I'm standing on the other leg now. Tap back and up, back and up. Bring the arms up to the ears. I'm going to stand sideways so you can see what I mean. Reach and pull. There we go. Reach and pull. And as I reach out and pull through, the further back I go, the harder it is to stabilize. And the more you bring your knee into your chest, the more you work your tummy. Right. Now on the next rep, where are we? There we go. On this one, I'm going to hold it back, lift my chest, down and up, down and up. So I'm in a nice big static lunge, right? You stay where you are. I'm going to turn back to face you, down and up. There we go. Now, when I next come up, I'm going to bring that foot in and change legs. So an alternating back stepping lunge, going from one side to the other. Now get the feet working first, okay? We want the feet going first before we do anything else. When you're ready, bring the arms up in front so that they're folded. And then as the leg goes back, you twist towards the front knee. Try the other side. Drop and twist. So you drop and twist. And you try and twist at the same time as you drop. I'm noticing my feet are coming closer together. If I have my feet a little bit further apart, that will make me better balanced. So going from one side to the other makes it a little better balanced. Okay. Now next time when you step back, hold it there and lower that knee towards the mat. I'm going to take my hands, link the fingers, take my hand from the knee at the back and come across the leg in the front. So it's called a kneeling wood chop. And the advantage of kneeling for this is that we are less likely to use our hips and more likely to use our waist. So if you notice, when I turn to my knee, my whole body, including my shoulders, comes to face the knee on the floor. And then as I come across the front knee, my whole body, including my shoulders, faces the window. And so you really get some work into the waist. Good. Now, last one. Hold steady. You're on one knee. Come up to standing. Step in. Step back. Lower the other knee. Good. Then let's go from the other side. Twist. Now, if you're anything like me, I have a good side and a bad side. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my bad side. So I find that I can, I'm all good there on the floor, but then as I come across my knee at the front, that twist, I don't have as much range to go around that side. But you might be like, I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I'm perfect on both sides. I have no problem with this. It's just you. Okay. Right, now from there, let's bring the hands back down, step back and come up. Now the next move is up to you. We're going to crawl forward. Now you can either keep the legs straight or you can bend the knees and crawl forward to plank, then crawl back and stand back up. Yep, up to you. If you want to squat, I'm going to move my mat in a little so you can see better. If you want to squat and then crawl, go with that. You can bend the knees as you roll back to standing. Now, if you don't like this at all, well, I don't know, tough maybe? No, if you really don't like it, then instead just come back to a little squat and go again. You don't have to stand all the way up. Remember, you could crawl to a kneeling position. So if you don't want to go into plank, just come down onto your knees and back again. All right, almost there. Now, let's go all the way back up. Last time. So from now on, we're going to be down and around the mat area. So I'm in a plank position. Now, if you'd rather be on your knees, be on your knees. If you need to move your screen or adjust your television set, now is a good time to do it. Otherwise, we're in a plank. Then step one foot to the outside of your hand. This is the point where my bum wants to come up. So I've got to drop that bum right down. There's no weight really in my hands. All the weight is in my legs and my body. Step back to plank and change sides. And hopefully, now that you're warmer, you're able to get your foot right to the outside of your hand and step back again. Okay, let's do another couple just to finish this off. Make sure we're opening up the hip and the hamstrings, and then you're going to hold your plank and lower your knees. Take a second and push back to child's pose. Then you're going to come back up onto your hands and knees. Now, if your hands are giving you a problem, if you've got a problem with your wrists, come up onto your knuckles if that helps. And all I want you to do to begin with is cat to cow. All right, nice, easy. Now, when you do the cat, you're tucking your bum under. I'm getting warm now, I'm going to take my jump rope. You're tucking your bum under, right? So when you go into your cat, there's your bum tucked under. That is how you work your tummy. Tucking under like that. Now, from that position, find neutral and push your weight to your fingers. Then I'm going to extend one leg, extend the arm opposite. So I've got left arm, right arm and left leg. And then I'm going to try and tap the knee underneath. But the trick here is to keep all your weight going forwards. Okay? So reach and tap. Reach and tap. I'm not going to keep you on your hands and knees much longer. Okay, I'm going to get you onto your elbows in a second. Almost there. Now hold the arm and leg out long. Extend and then sweep out to the side. Now don't go very fast. Start with a small move. And as you feel your tummy work, try to go a little bit further. Out and then back in. Now as that leg sweeps out to the side, I'm trying to keep my knee and my toes, my toenails, facing the floor and not rotate. Put your hand down, bend the knee and push back towards your child's pose. From child's pose, we move on. Come onto your elbows and in the same way, step one leg back. Slide the other leg back if you can, so that now you're in a plank on your elbows or a hover. Tailbone tucked under, knees down if you need them to be. Then from there, walk the feet out, out, in, in. So the feet are going out, out, in. Taking them for a little walk, wider than the mat, then onto the mat. Into a V, and then back onto the mat. Now the tension is building up. If you're feeling this just in your shoulders, it tells you that your shoulders are dominating and trying to take over. So tighten the tummy a little bit more and put all the weight into the abs. Lower the knees. Lower your body right down onto the ground and take a little lie down. How nice is that? A little bit of work on the back before we return to the tummy. So, right arm and left leg lift, switch over. Left arm and right leg, switch. Now, as we go from side to side, you can make this harder by bringing the arms and legs both off the ground and picking up the pace, or by rising a little further and maybe even adding a twist with the arm as you reach out. Does that make sense? Yeah, got it. Lovely. So one more, balance the sides, and then from there, come back up onto your hands and knees. I'm going to turn around so you can see the other side. So I'm back up on my hands and knees. This time it's the other leg. This is my right leg that I now extend. Lift that leg. Up comes the opposite arm. Drive your weight forward towards your fingers, towards the end of the mat by your head, and then tap the knee under and out. Now, if that's too much, just put your hand back down on the floor, all right? Because the bigger muscle, the legs, the bigger weight of the legs will work you harder than using the arms and not getting the fullest range of motion. Now we're going to hold the arm and leg out, pause and sweep this little orange chair suitably in the way. So you go round the orange chair and back again, just like that. Remember the option again, just concentrate on the leg, but the more weight you push forward, the harder you will work your tummy, right? Then let that leg drop, tuck the knee under, and once again come down onto your elbows. Now from there, step back with your feet so that again we're coming into that nice little plank. And then all I want you to do is fold the arms. Now, you can be on your knees if you prefer. So the arms are folded, and I'm going to just drop the hip one way and then the other. So from side to side. Just getting that little bit of a starter session for the obliques. Right? Just getting them to start work. And next time when I drop to the side, I'm going to come all the way over and I'm going to lie on my back, well, on my bum, shall we say, to start with. So from a seated position, come right up onto your bum, keep the feet close and the knees bent, and then I just want you to ease your way back and then rise up again. So I'm just pushing my elbows out the way, dropping back. To be honest, there's minimal work for my arms. It's more being done by my tummy. Now the next time, if you feel okay with that, instead of going backwards, try going upwards. So you're going to lift your bum up and back down again. So the bum going to rise up and drop down. So there's a bit of a hip hinge here. That's where the bend occurs, right at the top of the legs. It's almost a reverse plank. If you find that easy and you want to make it harder, then let's make it a reverse plank. You straighten the legs and you come up and down. Let's just do 3 more like that, all the way up and all the way down, whichever way works for you. And on the last repetition, we're going to drop the bum onto the ground. Now, bend the knees and hook the hands behind the legs. And then I want you to roll part of the way back. Use the legs to pull yourself back up nice and tall. Now, if all else fails, this is option 1 to which you can continue to return time and time again, rolling back and pulling back up. But if you find that easy, then try doing it without holding on. Rolling back and coming back up. This is a great way to work the abs without ever hurting your neck. So if you struggle with sit-ups because you feel your neck hurts, this is a great alternative. Roll back and rise up. Now I'm going to make this harder. Of course we are going to make this harder. So I want you to roll part way back and pause. And when you're there, just hold that position. Now if that feels okay, try lifting one leg and then lifting the other. And then pull yourself back up to sitting. Now if you felt that in your lower back, don't do it, okay? Instead, just pause with both feet on the ground. Or try lifting, instead of the legs, the arms, and bring yourself back up to sitting. Right? Let's go again. Roll part way back, either the legs or the arms, and then rise back up to sitting. Now this time, we're going to roll part way back and hold. And I want you to tighten the tummy, try to round the back and punch. So we're going to go left, right, jab, cross, like that, okay? Right into the middle. So you imagine that there's someone sitting on your feet at the other end and you're trying to punch them in the face. Now, as soon as it gets too much, I want you to rise back up, take a breather, reset, and then roll back and do it again. You've got 20 seconds to go. Right? Tailbone tucked right under as we go through the punches. Now, from here, as we just come into the last 10 seconds, that's it, almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to roll all the way back. Whoa, that should do it. Now, when you're lying flat, I want you to take your left arm and lower it onto the ground, palm facing down, almost like a bit of a chicken wing sticking out of your shoulder. Right arm comes up to your ear. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, push through the left arm, round your back, and the right hand is reaching towards the left foot. If you come right up onto your hand, you'll get even closer. Then come all the way back down and do it again. So we breathe out, push through the left arm, come onto the left hand, right hand to left little toe. I know, we've not done this kind of move before. Reaching right round the corner. So there's an oblique twist happening out of the side of the tummy. Now let's swap arms over. So left arm up to the ear, right arm bent, palms facing the floor. Twist and reach. Left hand to right foot. All the way back. I don't know, is anybody moving back slightly? Because I've got this feeling I'm just going to disappear into my kitchen and all you'll be able to see are my feet sticking out on the floor because I seem to be moving slightly backwards all the time. Let's see if I can control that. All right, almost there. Right, this is the last one. We're going to stay back, circle the arm round and in, bend the knees. Bring the feet close to the bum and we go into our first bridge. Now the bridge today, we're going to articulate the spine on the way up and then drop straight down through the hip hinge. So tilt the pelvis, squeeze the bum, rise up to the top and then hinge at the hip straight down to the floor. So it's a little bit different. Tilting, curving, rounding on the way up, and then hinge at the hip to drop straight down. One more like that, and then we'll swap it over. Right? So here's the change. I want you to lift straight up, no articulation, but then see if you can get that rounding and scooping on the way down. So go straight up from the hips, squeezing the butt, and then round the back on the way down. And that's when you really feel the tummy work. Straight up, then rounding, and just tiny little increments of movement to land on the mat. One more time, straight up. Now pause at the top, and then get that rounding all the way down. Now from there, we go to lift the legs. First one leg up and down, and then the other leg up and down. Now, as we lift the legs, first one and then the other, try to keep a little gap underneath your lower back. Nice and easy. That's okay. We've got that. Then let's make it harder. Pick up both legs. Flatten the back and go from the top down. First one leg and then the other. Then the question is that still easy? And I'm fairly confident the answer is yes, it actually is. Then in which case, as you drop the leg, I want you to almost send the leg away a little. So my foot is aiming more, instead of just by my bum, it's aiming for the end of the mat. Does that make sense? Now, do you notice how that means harder work for the tummy? So you've got to work harder. Now bring the arms up and over the shoulders. And as you drop the right foot to the end of the mat, bring the left arm towards your ear and vice versa. So opposite arm and leg moving at the same time requires even more control from the tummy. Let's do another 4 like that. 3, 2, and 1. And then from there, hug the knees in. So allow yourself to take a little bit of a breather. I'm going to hold the back of my thighs, tucking my chin in. I'm just going to let my legs start to drop towards the floor. And by holding the back of my legs, I've brought the top half of my body up. Now, if that feels okay, well, I say okay, if it's not hurting your back and you can feel your abs working, then try straightening one leg, straighten the other leg, and then take the legs to a V. Then cross and uncross the legs. Now there's your abs work. Right? Now if that's too much, or you notice it's your back that you can feel, or perhaps it's only the legs, then something's not quite right. Because for me right now, all the effort is going through that tummy. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug the knees right back in, lower the head and shoulders, extend and bend the legs. Just let them relax. Nice, easy little roll in. Now, if you want to make that a little harder, then bring the head and shoulders just slightly off the ground, and that will work the tummy a little bit harder. Now, little by little, I'm starting to put a bit of momentum into this. So let's do 4 more. 3, 2. Now, next time when I hug them in, I'm going to keep them in. And as I breathe out, I'm going to roll up to sitting, but control so that my feet don't touch the floor. Breathe in and roll back. Breathe out, roll up. Feet don't touch the floor. Back and up. Back and up. Let's do another, let's say 4 more like this would be great. 4, 3, last 2. Now, almost there. We're going to stay up sitting, feet down, hands to the back, and drop the knees from side to side. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm a little bit on the warm side, shall we say. I've got, you know, when you get that sweaty neck, that's, am I sharing too? I'm sharing too much. I apologise for oversharing again. Right now, from here, the knees are going to drop all the way to the side, and I'm going to follow them round. My elbow is going directly underneath my shoulder, at least I'm trying to. I've got my knee tucked under at the back and my leg over the top. Now, if that is all you want to do, just, you can move your arm a little further away and just go down and up here. And that's only a tiny little move, but you will still feel something happening in the obliques. Alternatively, try going up and down. Now, when you do oblique work in a side plank, it's quite hard sometimes to feel the right muscles. So don't rush it, take your time, and imagine almost crunching. So I'm almost crunching that way, like my head to my knees, as well as crunching up the way. Now if that still feels okay, bring your arm up so that you take away the support. And if that still feels okay, well then don't let me hold you back. Split the feet and go into a full side plank, up and down. Now from here, we're going to get this arm in the air. It's going to come underneath and we're back on our front. Now hold that position and drive your shoulders forward over your fingers. Then I want you to take a walk. So you're going to lift first one foot and then the other. Again, if you want to do this from your knees, you can of course do this from your knees. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Or from toes. Either is fine. Now you know where we're going. We're going to go over to the other side. So lower the knee to begin with, because that will give you better balance. And if you need the hand on the floor, put the hand in front on the floor. And find first the muscle activation. So I'm going to turn around so that I can still see you. So I know I'm not here on my own, just doing my own workout. And you've all gone, shh, don't tell her we'll go. Right, up and down, squeeze and release. Now if you want to come up onto your feet, if you're feeling it in the right place, then try coming up onto the feet instead. There's the work into the obliques. Find it so much easier to do on this side, to really feel it. Good, now tuck that arm back under and you're back in plank. But this time, I want your fingers facing forward and your middle and index finger parallel to the edge of the mat. You could be on your toes, or if you want to, you can be on your knees. But what I'd like you to try here, a little bit tricky, is to push your bum up and walk your feet towards your elbows. There. Then keeping the shoulders over the elbows, walk your feet back to plank, so your bum comes down. Now, if you want to lower your knees for a breather and a little stretch, then go ahead and do it. Tuck under, walk the feet towards your elbows, driving the bum up, then walk your feet back, but make sure your shoulders are staying over your elbows. Lower the knees if you want a little stretch and go from there. We'll do one more time. Should be feeling slightly out of breath here. Walking up, like that, and walking back to plank, and then down into the stretch, release. Crawl back and up to kneeling. So come all the way up until your bum is off your feet and you're up on your knees. If you need a cushion for your knees, please grab one. Tuck your tailbone under so that you feel your tummy tighten. And then pressing your shins into the ground, hinge back. Now, of course, you're going to feel a stretch, and you'll feel a stretch down the front of your thighs. That won't do you any harm, okay? But the work is coming from the tummy, keeping the control over the neutral back and not arching the back or sticking the chest out as we go back and forward. So it's that tummy that provides the control. You'll notice you need to squeeze your bum a little And you'll also want to engage that pelvic floor. Okay. Something I noticed when I was teaching Pilates this morning, I really noticed that I have a tendency to say pelvic floor and make this shape with my hands. I don't even know why. Well, I kind of do, but you know, I need to stop doing that every time I say pelvic floor. Right, from here, tuck your chin in and roll yourself forward back onto your hands and knees. We'll take a cat to a cow. So up and through. So getting the stretch through the back, but also getting that work from the tummy. We're not done with the hard work yet. Now stay on your hands, and then wherever your hands have left an imprint, drop down to your elbows. Let your elbows leave an imprint and return up onto your hands. Now, obviously you can stay here, but it would be harder, would it not? Yes, it would. Don't even bother to answer that question if I was to do that from a plank position. So with my feet nice and wide for stability, I lower my elbow into my hand imprint, and then I put my hand into the imprint left by my elbow. And all the time, I'm trying to keep my back flat and not rock through my hips. Down and up. When eventually I come back up onto my hands, stay put, and I want you to walk your knees underneath your hips. Then walk your feet back out again. Now, if that's too much, you can do exactly the same thing, but have the knees stay on the floor. So the knees would go in, and then the knees would go out. But if you can do it from not touching the floor, then again, you'll feel your tummy work a lot harder. In, out, out. Just like that. In. Try not to look at your feet. Look to the end of your mat. Now, next time, when the legs are out, keep them out and drive the hips up to down dog, flattening the back down into the ground. Sweep forward to plank, lower the hips and stretch the tummy as well as the back. Then go again, rise up. Now this time, when you're in down dog, concentrate on keeping all your weight, or the majority of your weight, in your feet. I'm going to take that left foot just off the ground and swing it up and down, up and down, up. And I'm looking at my feet and trying to flatten my back so that that leg gets a lovely big sweep up and down. Change over when you're ready. So there's the right leg up and down, up and down. Now tighten through the center. Keep the back nice and flat. Keep your eyes on your shoes. Don't look to the end of the mat or your fingers, but keep that chin tucked in nicely. Now, when you put that foot back down, walk your hands towards your feet and stand up. But now we are not done. Of course we're not. Why would we be done? I want you to go back into the inchworm with which we began. So crawl forward into plank and crawl back up to standing. Now, if you feel you've done enough plank nonsense and you don't want to do any more, then instead of doing your inchworm, I'd like you to pulse squat. So you can do a little pulse squat at the bottom of the range and just stay put. Or you keep going with your inchworm. So by that I mean a little pulse here instead of any more inchworms. You'll soon regret it. Okay, you'll soon be dreaming of doing inchworms instead. Crawling forward, crawling back. There you go. And up to standing. One more inchworm. A few more pulses just to punish the non-inchworm people. I think so. There we go. Forward and then all the way back up to standing. Now, when you get to standing, I'm going to reposition so you can see. Back in the middle. Give me a side bend, but this time I want your arm by your ear. Did you see? Wait, stay there. Same side, over. Same side again, over. And I'm keeping my arm right by my ear, running my middle finger down. There's the extension through the waist and the contraction on the other side. Now we change the arms over. Reach down as if you're trying to get your middle finger to your ankle bone. Now, whilst this is obviously good work for that waist, both sides, it's also important because it stretches out the back. There we go. Now, from there, bring the arms out wide. Don't move your hips and twist one way and then the other. The hard bit is not moving your hips. So almost counter twist the hips. Does that make sense? So as I'm turning this way, my hip is turning back the other way. And that helps keep the hips nice and still. Now from there, just fold forward and bend, and then come back and stretch the back and the tummy. Go forward, bend, come back and stretch the tummy. Right, almost there. 2 more. Forward and back. Last time. And release the arms round and down. You should feel tighter in the middle and like your tummy's just had a good, we'll have a 6-pack show off in a second. That's great work. Well